Hi.
Hey.
Guys, this is exciting. We are recording in a whole different country. You know us as Jack and Nora in a little studio in London town, but we're in the juicy city of Orlando because of oranges.
The Juicy City.
Is that not what it's called?
Is it?
The Sunshine State? Is this the Sunshine State?
Yeah.
We're in the Sunshine State.
The Juicy City. Orlando, Florida.
Well, now the way I'm going to edit this is that you said Juicy City first. Welcome once again to When Rom Met Com, the podcast where we break down what makes a date movie a great movie. We're currently working our way through Vanity Fair's list of the 42 best romantic comedies of all time to see if they had us at hello or were a big mistake. Huge. Today we are covering number 29, The Big Sick. I'm Jack.
I'm Nora.
And we don't have a guest.
Just us.
For the first time since the last time. Way back in episode 1, we had no guest. And now we're guestless again.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel about having to create conversation with me this time?
I feel fine about it.
Okay, I'm very intimidated by it.
So since we don't have a guest today, Jack, what is your relationship to romantic comedies?
Oh, gosh, that's an interesting question. So, in case people haven't figured it out, I love romantic comedies.
What?
I do. I really do. And have loved them ever since I was a young lad. One of my favorite activities growing up was just going to see like whatever was playing. And I was always excited when it was a romantic comedy. I would drag my friends with me to go see Sweet Home Alabama or 2 Weeks Notice or Just My Luck. And I remember my friends would often get annoyed with me because they're like, we don't want to see these movies. I was like, but they're going to be good. And sometimes they weren't, but sometimes they were. I mentioned Just My Luck because last night Nora and I were watching it on TV while we were on holiday. I found myself very engaged with what is not a great movie, but it's so watchable. And that's what I really love. I love like the sort of steady hand that a rom-com has. They can be quite formulaic, but formulaic, I think, in a good way. I don't think formulaic is always a bad thing. Sometimes we want to, as Norman Osborn in Spider-Man says, go back to formula.
I love a formula.
Yeah.
Things that other people criticize for being formulaic are often the things that are my favorite.
Yeah.
Like rom-coms,
Mm-hmm.
like the TV show House.
Well, that's it. You go back to something like House, or like I have SVU, and you go back to it because it is formulaic and you enjoy that. Go watch a Marvel movie. That's as formulaic as hell. And I like Marvel movies because they are formulaic as hell.
I think predictability is soothing.
Yeah.
And if we want unpredictable, we can get it somewhere else. And sometimes subverting the formula can be fun and interesting, like with Sweethearts, for example, or with this movie a little bit. I think this one subverts our expectations.
I think this subverts our expectations, but also plays into them beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to it. But actually, I wanted to ask you, while we are talking about our sort of like history with rom-coms, do you have any like interesting like rom-com historical moments you remember? And do you have a favorite?
My favorite rom-com is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Great choice.
Which is number 6 on this list.
Mm-hmm.
It is number 1 in my heart. I was raised on the kind of 90s rom-coms like Pretty Woman.
I've never seen it.
Wild to me. Also really weird that it's not on this list.
Yeah.
It's just such a classic. But Pretty Woman, Never Been Kissed, Sabrina.
Sabrina, the 90s version or the original?
The 90s.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen the 90s version. I've only seen the Audrey Hepburn version. I think talking about eras is very interesting. I think my era is possibly like the more 2000s era. Because my parents didn't like really introduce me to rom-coms, but I sort of found them myself. And so like when I was going to the cinema by myself, like in the mid-2000s and like seeing very like Sandra Bullock-y rom-coms, which I love. They are such like a good like warm blanket around me. I would like to get one of those like big blankets with like a rom-com film poster on it, like a quilt with little rom-com film posters.
My stepmom makes quilts.
Oh.
Maybe I can commission that. Hey, Dorothy, if you're listening.
We've got work for you.
I can guarantee that she is not listening. Although she did listen to episode 1 and said that we had great chemistry.
Well, there we go. And hey, look who's back. It's your favorite host from episode 1. None of those crazy guests to put you off. My favorite rom-com is also on the list. It's The Apartment. And you don't have to wait too long for that one because that's number 25 on the list. And that blows my mind that it is that far down the list. We did have a guest in recently who said that she didn't think it was a rom-com. So I am excited. I know you've not seen it, so I'm excited for your weigh in on it. I'd like to watch that one with you, actually. Watch you cry when we see it. But yes, as you set up very nicely earlier, this rom-com does subvert the formula, and we are talking about The Big Sick. Would you like some stats on The Big Sick?
I would love nothing more than to hear some stats on The Big Sick.
I hate to disappoint you. I don't have any.
Oh.
It's the lie. I have loads. Yes, this is directed by former star of a rom-com we covered, Michael Showalter. This will not be the last time we talk about Michael Showalter on this list because he also directed The Idea Review.
Michael Showalter appeared in Kissing Jessica Stein, but we could not figure out who he was.
He was the star of Kissing Jessica Stein.
If anybody knows who he was in that movie, please let us know because we cannot work it out.
This stars Kumail Nanjiani, who is also one of the co-writers of the movie. Zoe Kazan, playing one of the co-writers of the movie. Holly Hunter, Ray Romano, Adil Akhtar, and Zenobia Shroff. Released on the 23rd of June, 2017. Had a budget of $5 million.
It's not a lot.
It's not.
They achieved a lot with that budget.
Well, at the domestic box office, this made $42.9 million. And it went for a total of $56.2 million worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah. And this, I believe, is our highest Rotten Tomatoes scorer so far.
Woo!
98%.
Ding, ding, ding. Ringing the bell.
She didn't actually ring a bell, guys. That was just her voice. But Nora has the voice of a bell.
Yeah. Yeah, people tell me that all the time.
Of course, IMDb describes this movie as Pakistan-born comedian Kumail Nanjiani and grad student Emily Gardner fall in love but struggle as their cultures clash. When Emily contracts a mysterious illness, Kumail finds himself forced to face her feisty parents, his family's expectations, and his true feelings.
Forced to face the feisty family
I like that.
feud.
I'm going to try it
forever.
one more time. Kumail finds himself forced to face her feisty parents, his family's expectations, and his true feelings.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Vanity Fair says...
That's Vanity Fair.
Right. Vanity Fair. Vanity Fair says, one of the most refreshing rom-coms in recent years was inspired by the real-life courtship between star Kumail Nanjiani and his wife, Emily V. Gordon, with whom he wrote the film's screenplay. In the movie, their burgeoning relationship is stopped dead in its tracks when Emily, played on screen by Zoe Kazan, experiences a major medical crisis and falls into a coma. While she's sleeping, Kumail attempts to bond with his future in-laws, a perfectly matched Holly Hunter and Ray Romano, and contend with the cultural obstacles he faces as a Muslim Pakistani man who wants to forego his family's plans for an arranged marriage. It sounds so serious on paper. A Pakistani guy whose parents want him to have an arranged marriage has his white girlfriend go into a coma, Nanjiani told Entertainment Weekly upon the project's release. But it is a comedy. Produced by Judd Apatow and directed by Michael Showalter, the tonally tricky film earned Nanjiani and Gordon a Best Original Screenplay Oscar nomination and helped reinvigorate the genre. That was Savannah Walsh, who we love.
We are big fans of Savannah Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
Come on the podcast, Savannah.
Hi, Savannah.
You hadn't seen this film before.
I had not.
I saw it in the cinema. I was really excited about this film coming out. Because I was a Kumail fan. Did you ever see Silicon Valley?
No.
He's so funny on it. Also, his stand-up is great, as you can tell from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I've always been a Judd Apatow fan. And this is our first Judd Apatow film we get to cover. We've got another one coming up, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. But it's interesting to talk about Judd Apatow in the realm of rom-coms because definitely played a big part in the sort of late 2000s rom-com, especially like boy rom-com genre.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on with Bridesmaids, where people were like, oh my God, can women be funny?
What?
What? Somebody tell the town mayor.
I know exactly what you mean when you say boy rom-coms, but can you name a few more?
So if we look at like the Judd Apatow verse, you've got Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Knocked Up, The 5-Year Engagement. Films that feel a little more like bro-y in their comedy, but are also romantic comedies. What they do is I think they find a really nice mixture of like sweetness and kind of like dude humor, if that makes sense.
It does.
You gave me the most patronizing look on that. It does.
Well, it does make sense.
It really does, Jack. You've nailed it. You've found bro comedy and made it accessible to the world.
It's just, I don't think it's a particularly complex concept. So yes, it does make sense. But yeah, I think those are good examples.
And I would say this does kind of fit into that world, and it fits into that Judd Apatow setup. Like, you do have the kind of like, not zany friends, but kind of quirky friends in this movie, and the sort of semi-improvised feel to some of it. And I think that's something that Judd really brings to the table. And he's also very good at like picking out new comedy talent and bringing them to the forefront. Because I imagine before this, nobody wanted to make a movie starring Kamal Nanjiani, as like it would be too risky.
One of the interviews I read, he was saying that he was getting all these kind of bit parts that he was really enjoying, but it was like the taxi driver, the delivery guy. He called them like the guy roles.
Of course, he does play a taxi driver in this.
Sure. But the kind of like person who appears for one scene or one episode.
Yeah.
But I think the point he was making in that interview was that Judd Apatow really made a space for him.
Yeah.
And they said that, so he and his wife, while they were writing the film, which it took 4 years, they wrote this for 4 years. And during that process, they said they were never ever worried about getting a note like, what if Kumail's character was actually Brendan Fraser? They were like, they never had to deal with anything like that.
I think that would be an interesting challenge from Mr. Fraser. He played the whale, and now he plays Kumail.
But it's great to feel like, you know, the producers are in your corner and that you don't have to spend every day worrying you're going to get replaced.
I know a lot of people don't like the Judd Apatow school of like comedy, but I do think he is that sort of, he does have that ability to like pluck out people who are perhaps a little bit more obscure. I mean, I say this, he plucks out Amy Schumer, who has her own show, and Pete Davidson, who was the breakout star of Saturday Night Live. But you know, he is the person who gave them their like big film breaks. And Russell Brand was huge in the UK, but I don't think he really made it to the US before Forgetting Sarah Marshall. You know, that didn't work out in the long run. But at the time, I actually do think Russell Brand's really funny in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
He is, yeah.
Against my better judgment of ever saying he's funny. But yeah, so this was your first time with it. You had fun, I'm guessing?
I did. I watched it on the plane on the way to Orlando, and I had a great time.
I mean, I loved this movie when I first saw it, but I think it hits just as hard now. It's a really, really beautifully structured movie, and like the characters, it feels like, stupid to say this, feel so real. Mm-hmm. It's kind of because they are real, because this is our first true story.
Mm-hmm.
And it is nice to have that sort of authentic voice of like Kumail and Emily behind the script, because you can tell that there are things in this movie that are lived through. I feel like the scene at the drive-thru is 100% real.
I would be so interested to know which parts of this were actually real and which ones were exaggerated or were changed or were added in, because there are some things that I do know were changed, but I would love to know what are the like specifically true to life moments. And I wonder if the drive-thru is one of them.
The drive-thru feels very real. Have you ever seen Father of the Bride?
No.
It's one we can get to. But there is a wonderful moment in that where Steve Martin has sort of had it. He goes to pick up some hot dogs and hot dog buns for a party, and he is so stressed. You can buy a pack of like 10 hot dogs and packs of 4 hot dog buns. And he starts like taking 2 buns out of the packs, and the people go, "You can't do it." He's like, "I don't need the extra 2 buns. Why would you sell me it like this?" And that's the same sort of breakdown. And I think about those moments all the time. because there are things like that. In fact, it is very, very true to life that you can always buy an equal amount of hot dogs and hot dog buns. It is insanely real. But yeah, I think that moment at the drive-thru, I can see that happening at your just weakest moment. As Denzel Washington said to Will Smith at the infamous slapping Oscars, that's the moment when the devil comes for you.
Wow. For anyone who hasn't watched this film recently, the infamous drive-thru scene, Kumail goes to the drive-thru after getting sort of bad news about Emily's condition, and he orders a cheeseburger with 4 slices of cheese. And the poor kid taking the order is like, we cannot do that.
There is no button for that.
There's no button. And he is just screaming like, yes, you can do it. Stop hiding behind this corporate entity. It is just you and it is just me. Just put 4 slices of cheese on the fucking burger. And honestly, he is so real for that.
Yeah.
I would feel exactly the same way. Like, I'd be like, upcharge me. Charge me for something else.
I mean, there's the moment where the guy is like, I'm going to just put you through for 4 cheeseburgers, which I'm like, don't upcharge me that much. I don't want to pay for 4 cheeseburgers. I just want 4 slices of cheese. I had this at an airport once, actually. I ordered a chicken burger and it gave me the option, would you like cheese on the burger? And I said, yes. And when I went to pick up the burger, it had no cheese. And I went back to them. I was like, oh, I ordered cheese on this burger. So we don't do cheese on the chicken burger. I was like, I think you do, because it gave me the option. And they gave me like a slice of cheese to put on the burger myself, which is like kind of the grossest way to do it. They came out with, it was like in tongs, and they like handed it over to me. They were very like, we don't do that.
That would be so annoying.
Shall I dox the company?
No.
It's a big company. It's KFC.
Well, clearly you want to.
Yeah, it's KFC.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel comfortable like complaining about KFC. If it was like little mom and pop chicken shop, I wouldn't mind. But KFC, get better, KFC. Kentucky Fried Lies.
I famously do not like cheeseburgers.
Mm-hmm.
Having to order hamburgers confuses the hell out of people. And when I first moved to London, the McDonald's near my drama school didn't have the like screens. So I went up and I was like, hi, could I please get a hamburger? And the lady was like, cheeseburger. And I went, no, hamburger, no cheese. And she went, a cheeseburger with no cheese? And I was like, a hamburger. And while this was happening, the manager came over and the woman was like, where is the button for cheeseburger with no cheese? And the manager looks at me, gives me the most scathing look. And he's like, a hamburger already has no cheese? And I was like, I know that. I'm from America, where this place was born. I know what a hamburger is.
When you were telling this story, I was like, there's definitely just an option for a hamburger.
Yes, there is. It's just this poor woman was like new. She was still being trained. Yeah. And I had just thrown off her whole groove. And I was like, I felt like I was being slandered by this manager.
I do like cheeseburger, hold the cheese.
Well, that's how you get into the secret lair in the Animorphs.
Oh.
Are you familiar with this?
I mean, I'm familiar with the Animorphs.
There's an episode where they go to a fast food restaurant, and if they have to get into the secret lair, they go, 3 cheeseburgers, hold the cheese. And the guy at the restaurant goes, and like nods very slowly.
I thought the was like part of the code.
It's this very slow, deep, significant nod, and then sends them into the like villain's lair. And that's all I could think about the whole time this debacle was happening with the cheese.
Did you read the Animorphs books growing up?
Yeah.
Do you remember there's like one where like they have to trap one of the people in like the body of an animal?
Oh, I don't remember any of it.
Oh, there's like one where like they're like, we don't trust you, so you are now like a rat forever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh. Dark.
Because the longer you are like in your animal form, the more you think like the animorph, so they just kept him in that animorph form.
Wow. Rats don't live very long. Would they have a human lifespan in the body of a rat?
I doubt it.
Because rats live like 3 years.
Sorry, Animorph kid.
Yeah, I used to have pet rats, so I know these things.
I know these things because I used to be an Animorph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a little weird that you're adding yourself on our podcast.
Well, I'm not one anymore.
Oh, okay.
Now I get my free cheeseburgers with the cheese.
And we've come full circle. So what were we talking about? We were talking about which moments in The Big Sick feel really real and really grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, the thing that felt the most real was his dynamic with his family.
Yeah.
Like that did not feel like a family that was written. It felt like a family that was.
One of the strongest aspects for this film is its casting.
His dad requested that specific actor to play him.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, which I enjoy. And apparently they look quite similar. Zoe Kazan looks a lot like real Emily Gordon. Yeah.
I actually really love the actor and actress playing his brother and sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
The sister-in-law just constantly saying, "You should be on SNL."
Why didn't I think of that? I'll send them an email. Yeah, that is the realest shit.
Yeah.
As an actor.
As a comedian.
Oh my God.
As a podcaster, actually. I'm getting that a lot lately.
What do people say?
You should get sponsorship.
Okay.
I can't make that happen.
If anybody would like to sponsor When Rom Met Com, get in touch.
Call my mom because she's all about it. Have you seen Four Lions?
No.
It's a great, very dark British comedy about suicide bombers.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah. Adil Akhtar, who plays his brother in this film, is one of the 4 guys in that movie. I've seen him pop up in a lot of stuff now. He's in the murder mystery movies with Adam Sandler, and he is in, he plays Smee in the Pan, prequel movie.
Nice.
He is really funny in Four Lions.
He was very funny in this.
Yeah.
Other moments that felt really real. So one thing I know actually happened was the scene where Kumail brings Emily's parents back to her apartment to stay, and he runs into her room and starts hiding anything that she wouldn't want her parents to see.
I think that moment is incredible.
It's so sweet.
It's one of the moments that I think makes the movie.
It's so thoughtful. It's so romantic.
Yeah.
The way they described it in this interview was hiding all of her sex, drugs, and rock and roll paraphernalia. I was like, Emily sounds cool. I want to hang with Emily.
You are famous for loving sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
All of those things, yes.
Nora is the most sex, drugs, and rock and roll person I've ever met.
Yeah. Also, the 9/11 conversation with Ray Romano.
So funny.
So funny and so real.
Mm-hmm.
Him not saying why he was asking. He was like, I always wanted to talk to, gestures at him about that. And he goes, talk to who? And he goes, a person? Because you haven't talked to a person about 9/11? And what was masterful about the delivery of his response is that it was kind of split into 2 jokes. So Ray Romano asks, what's your stance on 9/11? And Kumail says, anti.
Which is very funny in itself.
It's very funny. And I thought that was the whole joke. And then he goes, no, it was a tragedy. We lost 19 of our best guys, which is an even better joke.
Yeah. I do wonder, actually, thinking about Four Lions, which came out 7 or 8 years before this, I do feel like that paves the way for people, because that film ended up being quite a crossover hit in a way you wouldn't expect for a film like that. And I do wonder if that kind of opens up the door for people to laugh more at this kind of stuff. Because there's definitely a time where you make that joke and your movie goes nowhere.
Right. And I think they were a little bit concerned about people being offended by the terrorism jokes in this. And the way that Kumail Nanjiani explained it was like, you have to look at these jokes in context. Who is making them? Who is the person with the power?
There's the great scene where him and his brother are arguing and people look over and they're like, we're sorry.
We hate terrorism. Which is funny, but it's funny because it's true. And the fact that they can't have a very, very benign family argument in public without being aware that people might think they are terrorists is really, really fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
This actually brings us to one of the more sort of politically interesting scenes, which is the random frat bro heckling him during stand-up by saying, go back to ISIS.
Yeah.
Which is such an interesting scene on so many different levels. Like, that scene is so important for establishing his relationship with Emily's parents.
I'm not sure what the Oscar clip was for when this was up for Best Original Screenplay. That's the scene I would play. Especially the moment where Ray Romano is leaving and basically tells the guy off in not a meek way, but a way that's I am just too hurt to even be able to.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would feel awful if I got that dressing down from Ray Romano. Yeah, especially because Ray Romano's character does the, what's your stance on 9/11? It sort of sets it up that they might be a bit problematic in that sort of middle America way. And then really, it's actually, that's not the case at all. And they stand up for him in this heckling situation.
I mean, it's also important because obviously Holly Hunter's character doesn't like him to begin with, but it's more because of the breakup.
It's because of the 2-day rule, where if he is dating someone, he can't hang out with them more than 2 days in a row. And if their hangout crosses midnight, that counts as 2 days.
Yeah.
What a jerk. And that's real.
Yeah.
That is true from their relationship.
Kumail does not paint the nicest picture of himself, like at the beginning of this movie. Like the "This is your name" in Urdu is such like a cheesy pickup thing. And the fact that we see him doing it to someone else, it feels dirty. And I've seen comedians do things like that, and I really hate it when I see it.
So in the movie, she says, does that little trick work for you? And in real life, apparently she fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. So she was rewriting history by having Emily call it out in the movie, which I love.
Yeah, because I can see it working. But if you're doing it in a movie, it does feel kind of sketchy when you watch someone do it. It's very easy to make something in real life work that feels sketchy in a movie.
That could be, I have so many would do's for this, but rewriting to make myself say something cooler in the moment is a huge would do.
Though, watching this movie, after you described Emily as like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, this movie, this character of Emily Gordon is so Nora.
I find that very flattering.
I mean, she's a great character, but she says so many things that I'm like, this is 100% what you would say in this situation. And I have no examples.
I think their initial meet cute, where Emily, quote unquote, heckles. So he says, is anyone here from Pakistan? And she goes, woo! He says, you're not from Pakistan. I would have noticed you. Oh, my heart.
I also love the telling her off for heckling. And heckling can be positive.
Yeah. That whole bit. So he comes up to her in the bar afterward and is like, heckling is actually really bad. But I think a would do for me is when the joke she makes back where she says, oh, so if I heckled you by saying, you're really good in bed, that would be bad. And he goes, yeah, it would be a true heckle.
I think he's like a more accurate heckle.
Yeah. But I would definitely make that joke.
That's you. It's why I want you to come to more of my stand-ups. Because
so I can heckle you?
In that way.
Okay, you want me to flirt heckle?
Yes, please.
Okay. I can do that.
Make people like me. That's all I need. It's so hard.
His stand-up in this is so good. His like cheese heroin bit.
Yeah.
And the bit about the horror movies. He wouldn't even know he was in a horror movie because he'd die so fast.
That feels very you-coded as well.
Yeah, that's a would do for me as well. He's like, for me, the plot of the movie is that we're in a research facility and the cat goes missing.
That's so good. Yeah, like, he's very funny. But I do want to talk more about Emily and Kumail. Because this is an interesting rom-com. Because the female lead is absent for a lot of the movie. And so this film has to do a really good job of setting these two up early on to make sure we are on board for what Kumail is going to go through for the rest of the movie. I mean, obviously it's helped by this being based on a real relationship written by the people in that relationship, but you really do feel it.
I think it's so cool that they were able to work on this as, you know, a married couple. One thing I thought was funny was, so Emily was on set like the whole time, except for when Kumail had to film kissing scenes. And then he was like, please leave.
And she flew into a jealous rage.
But I think that's completely reasonable.
No, I agree.
To not want your spouse watching you do love scenes. That makes sense to me.
I agree. Nanjiani and Kazan have wonderful chemistry. It's a very natural romance and reminds me a little bit of Defending Your Life in that the dialogue feels so sincere and fresh and funny in ways that people actually are funny. It doesn't feel written.
Oh, it's so real.
And I think the sequence where he goes and just listens to Emily's voice mails, I think it's really beautiful. I think it's actually one of the best scenes in the film. And it's the scene actually that cements for me how much he loves her.
You know what cemented it for me is when he's talking about her. There's one line. He says, every bird she sees, she sees it.
That's a very you thing.
But it's so beautiful. And what I love about it is like, so she sees every bird and he sees
that she
her.
sees it. Yeah.
And that's just so, like, if you needed to be convinced that he loved her, that does it.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really, like, I think it's a really tender relationship. And I hope those are moments that come from real life. Yeah, the scene with the voice notes really got me.
It's the technological equivalent of smelling someone's shirt.
Or like, handwritten letters, stuff like that.
You made me sound like a creep. You're like, I read letters. And I'm like, I sniff stuff that they touched.
I mean, I've done that as well.
I think they make good use of montage, because we do see a lot of their relationship. Like, they get us to buy in.
It's 5 months, right?
Yeah, because she says, I've wasted 5 months on you when they're breaking up. We buy in, though, so quickly. Like, it's not that much of the movie before she goes into the coma.
Yeah. It's also interesting watching this. I don't know if I would have clocked it when I saw it in 2017, but I think it's the earliest use in a movie where someone yells red flag.
Yeah, when did that become part of our, like, modern dating lexicon?
I feel like it's got to be around then. Also, like, even just, like, the messaging of, like, ghosting. Like, they talk about that, and I feel like it's a very modern rom-com in that sense.
You pointed out the moment where he has to call her parents after she's in the coma, and he has to pick up her hand to unlock her phone.
And that's a good, like, little writing moment. In any other circumstance, someone doing that, you'd be like, oh, you asshole. But this is, like, the only time you can be like, this is the right thing to do.
It's quite funny.
Yeah.
In, like, a really dark way. But the only other time I've seen that happen on film is in the Netflix show You.
I can't imagine it's used in a funny way there.
Right. Where Joe Goldberg kidnaps these women and uses their, like, Face ID or whatever to unlock their phones and then pretend to be them so no one comes looking for them.
Oh, Joe.
Classic Joe. But yeah, very, very not funny in that context.
Something I want to talk about that I picked up watching it this time. We've not really talked about the arranged marriage of it all. Kumail's parents, especially his mum, is trying to set him up in an arranged marriage. What I think is really interesting about this film is that it almost takes on an alternate look at arranged marriage, because for the most part, this is a romance between him and her parents. And I don't know if she would end up getting back together with him at the end if it wasn't for the fact that her mum and her dad are so charmed by this man. And obviously there is the truth to the story, but I just thought that was a really interesting dichotomy in that, like, he is rejecting arranged marriage being set up by his parents, but in the end it is kind of playing in that world.
That is such a good point, because the purpose of arranged marriage is that your family is involved at every step. Like, you are joining two families, not just two people.
Exactly.
And in the end, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
What I love about this too is that, like, it is very clear that Kumail's stance on arranged marriage is, I am for it, I am not for it for me.
Yeah.
Like, you see two wonderful examples of arranged marriage in his parents and his brother and sister-in-law.
I love that bit with his brother saying, like, first 3 months, we could barely say 3 words to each other. And now I can't imagine my life without her.
So nice.
Yeah.
And I hear that arranged marriage has really high success rates. And he was kind of like, it's great, it is just not for me.
Yeah.
And I think that is a more nuanced representation than you would normally get, because you'd either go, this is the only way, or this is the worst thing and no one should do it.
I was watching it this time and I was like, I wonder if they intended that sort of synchronicity, because I think it is actually really relevant to the film.
Yeah, I have no idea if that was intentional. I would believe it either way, because it is just literally what happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it? Like, but I think that makes it even more interesting, actually, if it's not intentional, because that's just how life works out.
I read several interviews with the two of them about the process of adapting the movie, and Kumail Nanjiani was saying, like, it felt really weird 10 years after the fact to bring up this trauma with his family. He said if his parents had said, do not make that movie, he wouldn't have made it. He had his brother show the movie to his parents, and the whole time they were watching it, he was, like, pacing around waiting for the call.
I can see that.
Right? And his brother called and was like, they're processing, they laughed, they cried. So they saw it then. They went to one of the premieres, I think.
Probably
and then
Sundance.
And then they also paid to see it in like their local movie theater. And so they were clearly really supportive.
Yeah.
But that must have been really hard.
I mean, I think anytime you do something personal, it's hard.
One of the differences in how they portrayed it was when his parents found out about his girlfriend being, his white girlfriend being in a coma, they were so supportive and so present and like wonderful. And then as soon as she woke up and it was clear she was going to be fine, they were like, what the fuck?
Does he tell them she's in a coma in this version?
Yeah. And they still are just like, get out. Yeah. You're not my son. You've ruined everything. So that sort of condenses it and makes the drama sort of happen all at the same time, which is, better for a film. Yeah. But they did have that reaction of like, he was essentially being disowned and had to work his way back into his family. Like apparently all of that was true. It was just the timeline was slightly shifted. And that is such a recommendation for his family that they could put aside that reaction until they knew she was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I don't agree with that reaction. But I'm also not part of that culture. But it is especially cold to be like disowning your son while this woman that he says he's in love with is dying. And also, actually, a big change from the reality to the film adaptation is that they were not broken up when she got sick. They were still together. Oh. It was just very early in their relationship. So that breakup was added for drama.
That actually leads to more that maybe they did know what they were doing when they were using the sort of arranged marriage of it all between the two families. Because if they weren't broken up, he doesn't have to endear himself to her parents quite in the same way.
That's true. I imagine it was just more like awkward.
Yeah,
it would be.
I will say, I think the only thing that like in this movie that I feel like does like end on a bit of a bum note for me is the relationship with the parents. I know it's going to be mended, but we don't see it properly mended by the end. His mom is still like not talking to him, even though she's like preparing food for him. And I guess I would have liked some form of closure on that. I kind of just want the mom to break.
Yeah.
I get why they don't, but I wanted a hug.
I think her making the food was the break. I get what you mean. Yeah. It worked for me.
It still feels quite cold. And I understand that it's probably going to be cold for a while. Not the food, the relationship. But I just wanted, a little bit of something. Because the scene where he's basically kicked out of the family is heart-wrenching. And even the scene that is very funny when he goes to dinner and brings like the placards, the cue cards, is really funny, but it's also like quite depressing.
Yeah. Yet they managed to make that part of the comedy. Like, God, this film does such an amazing job of balancing what is truly a heartbreaking situation with sometimes it's that dark comedy place, sometimes it's just straight up funny. The balance is perfect.
Honestly, the most honest version of this story is a comedy. Nobody goes through these things in like complete depression the whole time. You do make jokes about it to make yourself be able to get by. At least I hope you do. If not, I don't know, we probably won't get on.
Like some of the just really dark humor moments, like when they're in the hospital sort of conference room and the nurse says, "Oh, don't read anything into this being the bereavement room. That's just the only room we had open." Which is so funny. And I wonder if that was something that actually happened.
That feels quite real.
Because as someone who's spent a lot of time in hospitals with family members, that is exactly what would happen.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah. And I'm so like glad it gets the Oscar nomination for Best Original Screenplay. But it was also very much touted for more. Holly Hunter picks up a lot of precursor awards and nominations for Best Supporting Actress. And she is incredible in this movie. So is Ray Romano. Like the first moment that really made me cry in this movie, and there are a few, when Ray Romano's character decides to go to Kumail's stand-up and Holly's like, "Go without me." And he goes, "No, I don't want to go alone. I want to go with you." Because there is this sort of like, we need each other to support each other throughout this. And then you find out more about their relationship as it goes on. And I think more than anything, like, I actually really do like his speech about to know if you love someone, cheat on them. It's a horrible sentiment, but it makes so much sense. If you want to realize how much you love something, do something you regret about it.
I think the more socially acceptable way of giving that advice is you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't really appreciate things until you feel like you've lost them.
Not as funny though.
Not as funny. Yeah, I loved that scene. It was very funny. But it's a bit the metaphor of what they're doing in this film, because he didn't cheat on her, but he didn't treat her very well. Like he lied to her and kept her at arm's length and wouldn't commit, wouldn't be honest. And then suddenly when she might die, he was like, oh no. And I think that's really real.
Yeah.
One of my notes was just Ray Romano. That's all I wrote.
Look, everybody loves him.
That's what I hear. Yeah. I loved his line about not going on the internet.
Shout out to Forrest Gump. Raymond's right. Anytime you go on the internet, people complain about Forrest Gump. Best movie ever.
Speaking of, as we were a minute ago, the heckling, the go back to ISIS stuff, I really want to know what his joke about toast was. He tried so hard to just keep like shifting the focus away and going back to his routine. What is the funny thing about toast?
Funny thing about toast? You can't microwave it.
Well, you can. Just wouldn't suggest it. I want to know. We should talk about his comedian friends.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned it's Aidy Bryant and Bo Burnham are the two who are getting on okay. And who plays the bad one?
His roommate, Chris, who is very funny and has one of my favorite lines in the whole film, which is, fuck's a funny word. It's soft on the top, hard on the end.
That's Kurt Branola as Chris.
So Kumail Nanjiani is obviously playing himself. So when I saw Aidy Bryant and Bo Burnham, I was like, are they also playing themselves? And they're not. No. But they are playing characters that are based on them. So Aidy Bryant's stand-up routine, her name's Mary in the movie. Mary's stand-up routine is based on Aidy Bryant's actual routine.
That makes sense.
And Bo Burnham's whole little bit about like, God, it's just so hard. It's actually really difficult to not suffer and not struggle. Like everything's just so easy and that sucks. That was a joke he made at his own expense because that was kind of his experience coming up in comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bo Burnham fucking killed it from start to finish. It's not even finished yet.
Yeah.
I know for a while Judd Apatow was trying to find like a project to make starring like Bo Burnham and it never came together, but that feels appropriate.
Kumail Nanjiani, fun fact, loves British rom-coms. He is super into Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Good movie.
And Notting Hill.
Good movie.
And we can see this in the movie. So that picture of him from high school with the ridiculous haircut, it's his Hugh Grant haircut. He apparently is absolutely obsessed with Hugh Grant.
Why wouldn't you be?
He watches Four Weddings and a Funeral all the time, and apparently they watched it on their wedding day.
Do you have a rom-com you'd watch on your wedding day?
I have no idea.
I like that, though.
Right? Isn't that sweet?
That's so nice. One thing we haven't talked much about on this episode is Zoe Kazan.
I love her so much. She's in another one of my favorite rom-coms, What If, featuring Daniel Radcliffe.
She's also in Ruby Sparks, which I think is a really interesting movie.
Is she playing this sort of quirky...
It's her and Paul Dano, who are a real-life couple, and he's playing a writer, and he gets a typewriter that anything he writes sort of comes to life, and he writes like the perfect girl, who is Ruby Sparks. It's well worth a watch. But yeah, like, she's kind of perfect casting in that sense. She wrote the film with Paul Dano, I believe, Wildlife, which starred Jake Gyllenhaal and Carey Mulligan. She's also Hollywood royalty, because she's the granddaughter of Elia Kazan, the director. And actually, I just found a nice quote on why she's reluctant to act. It's just that actors are all lumped together as this vague mass of fame-hungry, swag-wearing, drug-using, eating-disordered people. And I sometimes get sick of being lumped in with that group.
Good for her.
Yeah. She actually writes a lot of plays.
Interesting.
Yeah.
God, I need to do like a deep dive into Zoe Kazan because I love her. I love what she brings to the things I've seen her in.
You should definitely watch Ruby Sparks and Wildlife.
Imagine watching her in this or in What If and going, well, she's not even acting. She can't act. Like, imagine thinking that acting is silly voices and, you know.
For me, it is.
That acting is voices and putting on a limp. Like, imagine that thinking that's what that is. when what acting is allowing us to connect to something through you. And just being able to exist is the hardest thing. It is what we all go to school for years to be able to do. And then when we go out in the world and do it, we get criticized as, well, they're not even really acting. And this is the hill I will die on. This is my villain origin story. It infuriates me.
If I was going to play you in a movie, I'd play you with a limp.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say, really. I mean, I'm very positive on the movie. I think it's well cast. I think it's romantic. I think it's funny. It's almost one I wouldn't expect to find on the list, but I'm really happy that it's there.
It's quite unassuming, isn't it? But it's so, so good. I want to link back just because I can feel us wrapping up and going into our next segment. Just to link back to episode 1, one of my favorite quotes in this was, "Cricket is a spicier version of baseball." And I wrote, do you think he knows that? Because someone pulled his hair really good one time? The look Jack's giving me right now, he's so disappointed in me.
I'm not disappointed. I'm actually really pleased with you. But I had excised that quote from my mind. And now it's back with me.
He pulled my hair in a way that made me understand the difference between rugby and football.
Gross.
My other note that we haven't discussed, my very first note I took was, he's hot.
Have you seen the pictures of him when he got swole for Eternals?
Oh, no, I haven't.
Gotta show you a picture of buff Kumail.
Okay.
Not that Kumail looks bad in any way. He is hot.
I have a feeling I'll prefer him in The Big Sick to buff him.
It was one of these things where Chris Pratt on Parks and Rec versus him in Guardians of the Galaxy, and you're like, oh. Here we go. A nice before and after pic.
Oh, no. Wow. It's there's been all this analysis of the way that Hugh Jackman is presented in men's magazines versus women's magazines.
Yeah.
And it's men's magazines, it's Wolverine. Oh, I'm so ripped. I didn't eat any food for 6 days before the shoot.
Ate steak.
Right. Whereas on women's magazines, it's a little bit of stubble, a nice sweater,
I was in The Greatest Showman.
Right. I do musicals. And honestly, yes, a man in a sweater? Please, hold me back.
Even Matthew McConaughey in his awful wedding planner sweater.
Let's not talk about that. The exception that proves the rule.
I can't wait till we get our wedding planner episode because I'm just going to spend the whole time dissecting his awful wardrobe in that movie.
But I want it on the record. Kumail Nanjiani is fucking hot in this movie, as is Zoe Kazan.
As is Ray Romano.
Yeah, truly everyone.
As is, Holly
Hunter with her beautiful accent.
The look of joy on Holly Hunter's face when she's just sitting on that bed with her daughter when she's woken up, that's not acting, that is living.
When she walks past Kumail and she goes to pat him on the cheek and she just kind of drags her hand across his face.
Oh my God, one of my favorite moments.
So sweet, it's so real, so intimate.
The moment where he's saying goodbye to her and he's I guess it's the last time. She's like, maybe, I hope not. She gives him another pat then, I feel like.
So sweet.
I mean, we'll talk about Holly Hunter again soon when we get to broadcast news, but just genuinely one of the greatest actresses who's ever lived. And you can see why she was getting the Oscar buzz for this.
Should we do best song? Do you have a best song?
The X-Files theme.
That's such a good answer. Kumail Nanjiani has a podcast called The X-Files Files. He also got to guest star on The X-Files.
The reboot, yeah.
Which I think is so cool. I love when people get to live out their dreams.
I do love when Vela Novelle is I watched some of the X-Files. It sucks.
Yeah, it's very funny.
I actually love the X-Files. I think it's a great show. I should say the X-Files theme is Kumail's ringtone in this film.
So funny.
I do love the moment when the girl gives him his picture and is for your files, your X-Files.
That was so sweet. She was trying so hard.
I also, just because I can't get without mentioning Mitra Johari in this, who is a wonderful stand-up in her own right, but she plays the girl who comes around to dinner who can't eat any bread.
Yeah.
We cut into the scene and she's pumpernickel, rye, wheat. I can't eat any of it. It's just such a funny moment. Like, it's so like well played, and you have no idea like what she's listing or why she's listing it. And as soon as she says, I can't eat any of it, you're like, what a useless list.
But also, how long has that list been going on?
I know. It's so funny. It's so good. Oh my God. Like, you watched it with me. I was dying. That might be my favorite joke in the movie.
It's very good.
It's so well set up.
My song for the playlist is the song that plays over the credits. It's called My Love by The Bird and the Bee. And I just really liked it because it was this sort of perky song that also had these minor chord moments. And it felt to me like that was a really good representation of the tone of the film.
What was the song you picked for Emma? Because I feel like it had a similar title.
My Queen Bee.
Yeah, you're getting on your bees.
Yeah, I love a bee. Bees are dying and it's ruining the planet. Save the bees.
We could cover a bee movie.
We could.
Yeah, that's a rom-com between a bee and a woman.
I'm into it.
I can tell.
I've never seen it. What is your would do?
My would do is more of a should do.
Okay.
I should take Bella Lavelle's advice and stop being sorry for everything.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I like that.
I say sorry far too much, and it's one of my least favorite qualities in myself.
It's an interesting piece of advice because Kumail is sort of behaving in ways that he's not really very happy with and then apologizing for it.
Yeah.
And he could just be changing his behavior to begin with by being more assertive, by laying out clearer boundaries, by, all of these things.
This is my therapy session right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be charging you. I'll send you a bill.
Okay.
We've done a bunch of my would do's already, but not actually the one I wrote down.
I mean, I had a few, so.
One of Bo Burnham's jokes, he's like Daniel Day-Lewis, except he sucks. I would make that joke.
I like that.
And my other one is, I doubt anybody except me noticed this, the very awkward scene in the hospital waiting room where her parents are like, you can leave now. And it's like sort of tense and weird. And there's this woman in like the corner of the frame who's just like listening to them.
Yeah, it's you.
That would be me. I love eavesdropping on stuff in public. I want to know. I want the gossip. I'm going to report back to my friends. Yeah, I would be her.
What wouldn't you do?
If I had to call my partner's parents and explain that they were in a medically induced coma, I would not do it the way that he did. I wouldn't try to downplay the severity of the situation because she's fine. She's completely fine. Just to get that out of the way, she's going to be fine. She's in a coma. Like, don't do that.
I wouldn't question so much why someone was leaving my house in the middle of the night. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I get why he's doing it, and it's a sweet reason for doing it. But also, if like somebody wanted to leave, I would want them to leave.
Yeah.
Like,
I cannot believe we didn't talk about that scene.
We are talking about it right now.
That's such a good scene.
Yeah.
I would leave somebody's house in that situation.
Yeah. You want to go poo in peace.
Yeah, definitely not like someone I have just started seeing at their house with their roommate sitting right outside the door.
They have no matches and no air freshener.
Yeah, crazy. Like, I have to maintain an air of mystery. I am a lady.
You don't poo.
I don't.
No.
But if I did,
I
would leave the house for that reason. It is so sweet that he drives her home so that she can use her own bathroom in peace.
But weird that they don't stay there after that.
That defeats the purpose.
I guess so. But I feel like I would just be like, should we stay here? I also love that after their first night hookup, she books an Uber and it's him.
Does he charge her for that? Or does he like does she cancel her order and then he just drives her home?
Oh, then she gets the cancellation fee.
Depends. It depends. Sometimes they don't give you one. What have you done?
I have often started speaking and hoped I would say something smart.
That's what this whole podcast is for both of us.
It is. Ray Romano says this to Kamau when he's trying to give him advice. And yeah, I've definitely been there. I've definitely just opened my mouth hoping wisdom would come and just word vomit.
I have also owned a stolen street sign that said speed hump ahead, which is what is in the background of the shot when they're breaking up. It's on his wall.
How fortuitous.
Exactly. And I was like, hey, I have that sign. So yeah, have done. Rom-com Bradow?
Rom-com Bradow.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So the rom-com Bradow is the way that we numerically, scientifically rate rom-coms.
This is the greatest science known to man.
It is. There are 4 sections. Well, I guess there's 2 sections. The first is 3 parts. We score each film on a scale of from 1 to 5 on leads/chemistry, supporting characters, and story. And then the last part is that we assign each film a score between 0 and 100. So 0 is all romance, no comedy. 100 is all comedy, no romance. And 50 is the perfectly balanced rom-com. So leads in chemistry.
So it's an interesting one because obviously the romantic pairing are actually separate for most of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to give it a strong ass 4.
A strong ass 4?
Strong ass 4. The truncated version of the relationship that we do see, you buy into completely. As well as the way he cares for her while she is out of the world.
I actually went with 5 because I think that they were so strong that it didn't harm the movie for me that they weren't together. And I also think that her presence was so, like, she was so present throughout, even when she was in the coma. Like, the movie never stopped being about her.
No.
And so for me, it was a 5.
Good shout.
Supporting characters.
As ever with these things, I think the most important thing I think the easiest thing to get right in a rom-com is the supporting characters. If you don't have that, you've kind of lost me. And this one has a 5 banger.
Yeah, 5.
5 banger.
Was that your knuckle cracking?
Yes.
Horrible. That was so loud.
How have you never noticed this with me until like the week we spend together? I do this all the time.
Story.
5.
5.
It's so unique and it's so personal. It's wonderful. 5.
Yeah, it's a 5, 5, 5 for me. 5s across the board.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Nora, where do you come down on it on the rom-com balance?
I went 50.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. We are not aligned.
Interesting.
Yeah, I went 68. I think that romance is a big part of this movie, but I do think that a lot of it is more about like Kumail's life and his interactions with his family and his comedic life and his girlfriend's parents. And I think while I do think the romance is an integral part of it, I think it definitely leans more comedic.
Interesting. Because to me, all the other conflicts are in service of the can they make this relationship work conflict. I also think that some of my answer is based on something you said earlier, which is it's really a romance with her parents in places. And I believe that too. Yeah, to me, it felt like a 50. This is the second film that I have given 5s across the board and then a 50. The first one was Crazy Rich Asians.
Good movies.
Yeah.
Nora, do you have a game for me?
I do. So Jack's favorite awards show is the MTV Movie Awards. And every year, they do a Best Kiss award. So in 2017, the year that The Big Sick came out, there were 4 nominees and then 1 winner. So 5 total. I'm going to remove one of the nominees because it was a TV show.
Gross.
So there are 4 movies with great kisses from that year.
Is this the awards that happened in 2017 for the films of 2016?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So 2 of the films on this list were Oscar nominees. Actually, winners also.
Is Beauty and the Beast one of them?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Not the Oscar nominee, but yes.
Is that not like an Oscar nominee at all?
Oh, I don't know. That wasn't one of the ones I was referring to. But yeah, Emma Watson and Dan Stevens in Beauty and the Beast is one of the nominees, not the winner.
Yeah, that's early 2017. So I was like, yeah, that feels like something that would make it onto the list.
So 2 Oscar nominees / winners. And the other film on the list is sort of a silly rom-com that I have not seen.
Is one of them The Shape of Water?
No.
That would have been cool. Interesting. Oscar nominees.
There was big drama at the Oscars that year, if you recall.
La La Land?
Yeah. And
Moonlight?
Yeah.
Is Moonlight on the list?
Yeah. Which one do you think is the winner between La La Land and Moonlight?
I think La La Land wins at the MTV Movie Awards, but the way you're looking at me makes me think I'm wrong.
There's Moonlight.
Interesting.
I thought that was really strange too.
Interesting.
Because the MTV...
Who is the kiss between?
Ashton Sanders and Jarrell Jerome.
So we're missing the silly rom-com?
The silly rom-com.
The silly rom-com. Okay, so silly rom-com from that period.
Sort of very young cast of comedic actors.
Is it Zach and Dave Need Wedding Dates?
Yes, Mike and Dave, but
Mike
yes.
and Dave, yeah.
How do you know that?
Because you said like silly cast of young actors, and I was like, who's young and funny? And I was like, well, Zac Efron. Yeah, that's why I said Zach and Dave.
I would never be able to get this game. I do not understand how you do this.
So that would be, I'm guessing it's Aubrey Plaza and Adam Devine.
Zac Efron and Anna Kendrick.
Interesting. I would have gone for like the wackier couple.
The only film from that list I have seen is La La Land.
I've seen all of them. We could probably cover 3 of those movies. I feel like there's an argument we could cover Beauty and the Beast.
La La Land is not a comedy, but at the same time, I feel like we could make an argument for covering it.
I also do think it is a comedy.
Oh, well, it's really fucking depressing.
Yeah, but it's also really funny at times.
Wikipedia. La La Land is a 2016 American musical romantic comedy drama. Everybody's right. Everybody wins.
I mean, we'll definitely do like a season on musical romantic comedies.
Yeah. I also feel like there's a world where we do some romantic dramas.
Yeah. That's when we do Moonlight.
Well, there we go. That was your little game.
That's probably the best I've done this game.
Yeah, that was very fast.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, guest.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Is there anything you want to plug before you leave?
Oh, is there anything I want to plug? You can follow me on social media at Nurasic_park. You will mostly see me resharing stuff from the podcast, so you might as well just follow us at Rom Met Com.
I think that's the first time we've plugged your own social.
Yeah, I'm the guest, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
And Jack, oh my goodness, it has been so much fun to talk about The Big Sick with you. Thank you.
It's been a delight and also a bit of a strain.
Ouch. Okay. Well, is there anything you would like to plug to make all that strain worthwhile?
Yeah, finally.
Oh my God.
You can follow me at The Jack Gregson Show, where I'm a lot nicer than I have been in the last few seconds. Where you also see me sharing the podcast updates, as well as like pictures of like movies I'm watching. Best place to follow me is on Letterboxd. That's the most interesting social media I have.
That's where the fun stuff happens.
Yeah. And you can follow at Rom Met Com.
You can.
On Letterboxd.
Should I do the outro?
I think you should do the outro.
All right. Well, this has been Rom Met Com.
Yeah, it has.
You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Rom Met Com. There are links there to the Vanity Fair article, to our Letterboxd. Hey. And any other fun things that we found and want to share, like some fun little articles or essays that we liked. You can get in touch with us by DM, or you can send us an email at mail@whenrommet.com.
Get it?
We would love to hear your thoughts on the films, what rom-coms you think should have made the list, your best would-dos, wouldn't-dos, and have-dones, or anything else you'd like to hear about. If you've had a nice time today, please consider leaving us a review or following us wherever you get your podcasts. Next time, we will be discussing number 28, Harold and Maude. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, we don't hate you, not even a little bit, not even at all. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.